Good afternoon, everybody. It is the 26th of March. It's Mother's Day in the UK. Hi, Mum. I'm ill. Can you tell? I'm not feeling super great. So we're going to get through the news pretty quickly today. The footage you're seeing is a game called Peace Death, which I actually kind of want to play. Matt's playing, which is why it's probably sending everyone to the wrong place. But it looks like sort of Papers, Please, but for hell, which is fun. Let's get on with the news. Let's do it as quickly as possible because I want to go back to bed and playing Bloodborne. It's nice. Bloodborne's an interesting game. I think I prefer it to Dark Souls. I got into Dark Souls after 4 games because that's how long it takes you to get into Dark Souls. I quite like Bloodborne. It gets rid of the thing which I don't like about Dark Souls, which is the necessity of shields. And it's faster and more reactive, and I think it actually plays a lot more. It's more fun than Dark Souls. Anyway, I'll talk about that later in a Bloodborne video, or probably I'll just run around and be going, "You're rubbish," and I'll be like, "I know, but I'm having fun, so who cares?" Nintendo says the left Joy-Con issues are resolved for future units. They don't specify when those future units are being built or made or released. If it's going to be like the next stock that comes out or the stock after that, they haven't said. But if you have a dodgy left Joy-Con, which is everybody, you can send it in. So it is a manufacturer, it's a hardware error. It's a hardware error. They fixed it. Apparently the fix is they put a little bit of foam inside. People have sent their ones off. And if you send to Nintendo your left Joy-Con, they will send it back to you in about a week and it will be fixed. It seems adding a little bit of foam in there, which helps in some way. It helps block the antenna's fiddly bits. It does a thing. It does a magic space thing that's all right by me. But yeah, so the Nintendo Switch is gonna... they did rush this thing out, which is annoying, and we all knew they were going to do it. But it's now, if you buy one in the near future, I would assume, then it's possible that it'll be... You can play a little bit of Russian roulette with the left Joy-Con work. Which I've realised is not going to be an issue for me, because if I ever get one, I'm never going to put it in a TV, because why the fuck would I? I like handhelds. But that's a piece of news. One of the few. Not much news this week. It was quite a news-light week. We had a rumour about the next Call of Duty game, which I know none of you give a fuck about. But I didn't play the last one. They were like, "It's going to space," and then like Titanfall came out, and Titanfall was in space and amazing. And then it's like, now play Call of Duty. I'm like, no, you know, it's not going to be as good as Titanfall 2. It's just not going to get anywhere near. The new Call of Duty is apparently from a leak/rumour called Call of Duty World War II. Which is a really fucking awful title. It's not Battlefield 1 bad, but you know, yeah, apparently they're following what Big Daddy Battlefield does, and they're going back to the World War. A different one this time, 2 instead of 1, or 3, or 7, depending on when you're watching this video. But yeah, Call of Duty in World War II. I couldn't give a fuck. Call of Duty series got kind of boring, and they're really not going to do any justice to World War II because their campaigns are kind of over-the-top bollocks. They'll have literally the same story, like all of them at this point. Even it doesn't matter where they set it; it's the exact same story. The guy will betray you at the exact same point. The big boss is always the guy you're working for at the start. Yeah. Anyway. Call of Duty World War II. Please don't let that be a title. Please come up with a better name than Call of Duty. Well, WW2 as they're calling it. Because that's just not... Call it like Call of Duty... Ooh, we've run out of ideas. That'd be a great name. Blizzard reveals that StarCraft Remastered is coming out. They're remastering the original StarCraft. I'm giving it 4K graphics and other things. They've also got rid of... was it Battle.net? Was it Blizzard the ones that own Battle.net? Whoever owns Battle.net got rid of it, and yes. Yeah, they're remastering it. They're keeping the same graphical style, it's just basically giving it, like, 1080p screens, and they're twiddling bits and all that sort of thing. So it'll still look like the exact same game, as far as I can tell, which means it just doesn't kind of look that nice. I've seen the screenshots, like, I'm not into StarCraft, it's never been the thing that I'm in. They're apparently, like, John was ranting about this on Twitter this morning. I'm going to, scroll through. They are keeping the 12 units per control group limit. I don't know what that means, but that sounds like a quite severe limit. Apparently that's to stop like the professional players, because professional people fucking love their StarCraft, That's apparently to stop the professional doodlebugs from doing certain things. But a lot of people, according to John, would prefer it if that wasn't a thing. If you had, you know, you could do your whatevers. I don't fucking know. I've never played StarCraft. It was one of those. I was sort of, when StarCraft was out, I was into Command and Conquer. We haven't had a Command and Conquer game for fucking ages. That's a series that still holds some weight, I'd say. It's been a lot of. I also like that whoever you speak to, they've always got a different favourite Command and Conquer. There's not like it's. I mean, well, there's two. It's either that people like the Tiberian stuff or they like Red Alert. I personally skew a bit more Tiberian Sun than most, but no one says Command and Conquer 4. I like Command and Conquer 4. Go fuck yourself. I thought it was interesting. It was different. It was very different. I'm glad that they changed it. I met the guy who played Kane as well. I actually went to an event for the launch of, before I was YouTube, before I was even the gaming thing, I can't remember how I got there. There was like a Command and Conquer 4 event, and I stumbled into it. Like, just stumbled into it, and like Kane was there, and we were going to play it and stuff. Fun. But I like Command and Conquer. Actually, Twilight, the Tiberian Sun. It's a Twilight Imperium. That's a board game. Yeah, Tiberian Sun's my jam. Just sending out harvesters to collect some green or whatever. Well, I see that. Let's quickly talk about esports. Some people complain that I never mention or promote esports on this channel, and I'm going to explain why very briefly. I can't fucking stand esports. Esports are so fucking dull to me. Like, there's just... I'm not a fan of sports, really, of any... Like, if it's two robots kicking the ever-loving shit out of each other, I'm in 110%. But anything else, sport-wise, I'm like... I don't really care. I don't care for esports because it's still sports. And I think that's a good sign for esports, that it's still sports. But I always find... Like, I've seen, like... Overwatch, but I can't work out what's happening in Overwatch footage. Like, I've never played it, and as somebody who's never played it, I can't see what the fuck is happening. Like, if I'm ever going to watch anything, I always try and watch Counter-Strike, because I've played Counter-Strike fucking my entire life, and I know everything about it. But everything about it. You know, I know enough. I know everything about how the game works, but even then, I'm just like, this is just not... it's not that exciting. I've never been a fan of esports, and that's why I don't promote them, because I don't like them. Promote shit I don't like. That's kind of my rule. But StarCraft's another big esporty one. But again, I don't know. I like playing a real-time strategy really slow and really turtley. Like, if I'm playing Sins of a Solar Empire, I just, like, fucking sit at my base and I start building defenses and I send some scouts out and I start getting as much material as possible. Then, like, my front line just keeps extending forwards. And if I have to defend 2 places at once, I'm going to be pissed. That's my thing. I'm just going to be pissed off. If I'm defending 3 places at once, I'm going to take someone over just to get them out of the way so I can go back to defending 2. I'm fucking knackered. Yeah, that's my esports thing. Oh, right. This next bit's going to contain spoilers for Dead Rising 4's ending. So if you've not seen who gives really a shit about the story? But if you care about the ending of Dead Rising 4, skip ahead. Because I'm going to start spoiling the shit out of it. So, Dead Rising 4 ends with Frank West being killed. It's Frank West, isn't it? Yeah, the lead character, Frank West, he sacrifices himself and gets eaten, and then the game ends. Now, that's not the best ending. I've never really cared about the story in Dead Rising, and since 3 I've not really cared about the games. But I forgot Dead Rising 4 was even out. But apparently it's coming out on PC, or it's out on PC now. Whatever. The thing is that they've just announced what their first story DLC is, and you play as Frank West as a zombie. So they're actually going to finish the storyline off in the DLC. Can we stop doing this, please? For the love of fucking God, that's such a fucking bullshit thing to do. I thought we'd finally grown out of finishing a story in DLC, because it's a wanky thing to do. Finish the story in the game, add bit DLC that fits in the actual story of the game, that fleshes out characters and stuff for the people who are super into the series enough to buy the DLC. I think with the addition of season passes, they think that DLC is a bit more expansive and more everything. But no, it pisses me off. Just finish the story in the game. I don't want to have to go. I don't want Watch Dogs to now go, oh, here's a proper ending in their DLC. Shit, does Watch Dogs 2 have any DLC yet? I want to get some of that, because I like Watch Dogs 2. See, that, and I'm the sort of person who wants it. And I don't want them to have a new ending. I don't want them to change it. Although they did update the ending, didn't they, to pitch Watch Dogs 3. But I've already talked about that. Yeah, basically, just, ugh. I mean, an ending with the lead character dying, sacrificing himself works totally well. But then just going, nah, not really, but you need to play the DLC to find out what happens. Just, because either he survives this, and then the next game he's back, or like, the thing is, you can't really do anything with the Frank West character now without pissing people off. Because if in the next game he's back and he's fine, people are going to be like, how the fuck did he survive that? And if he's dead, then if he dies at the end of this, then what's the point of this entire story DLC? It's a bit of a fucking mess. Anyway, speaking of a bit of a fucking mess, let's talk about Nintendo again. They're good for giving me news, aren't they? And the Switch cartridges taste fucking disgusting. I have a copy of Zelda the Breath of the Wild. I'm very excited to play it. I also am getting a Switch. I'm just waiting to find one. I've decided, from what I've read about Zelda Breath of the Wild, it's exactly what I've wanted Nintendo to do for ages, which is to take their franchises and actually fuck with them. I didn't realise that for a little while. I was just kind of going, it's a thing. But then I was like, shit, this doesn't sound like a Zelda game. This sounds like something else, and that's Nintendo taking these established franchises and changing them up, and that's what I've been saying. Nintendo need to change what they've got up, or they need to make original shit. That's what I want Nintendo to do. So you know what, Nintendo? I'm going to fucking support you on this one. I'm going to play Breath of the Wild, and I better fucking like it, because I'm playing it on Switch. I've got a Wii U, but then I'd have to find it, and that's more effort than playing a Switch. Also, I want to play the best version, you know? I want to play the top tier. I want to play this game how it was designed. Sort of. I mean, it was designed for the Wii U, and then it was ported over, but shh, baby, shh. But that's still, I don't know. I actually kind of now think I'm holding off. I got the game because I actually found it for quite cheap. But I'm going to hold off on the Switch until we get the fixed ones out, probably. Having a look at the back now. It says Amiibo. You can receive items to help you on your adventure. I have one Amiibo in my house. I have one. I have many Amiibo cards, but I have one actual Amiibo, and it's the really nice Zelda from the original game. It's like 3D. It looks like it's built in Minecraft sort of thing. It's like it's the pixels, but as a voxels, I suppose, but in a 3D thing. It's very nice. I like that one. I bought that. I'm not going to use it in anything unless it might work in that. What do I do? Unless you play as 2D Zelda. Oh my god, that'd be great. Sorry, I did the thing that pissed people off. Anyway, Nintendo news. So I really am. It is. No, never mind. Super Mario Run came out on Android. I played it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. It's not. I didn't know that you didn't have to jump over the bad guys. It's one of those. It does that thing what mobile games do, where it's really hard to die, and I suppose it'll get harder later on. But it's £10. You play like the first 4, I think it is, levels, and then it's like, right now, pay £10. You get the rest of the game, which is a nice way of doing it. But £10 is a steep fucking price for a mobile game. It really So the way it works, it's like a standard new Super Mario Bros. Game. It looks like one, apart from the fact that it auto runs. So you're always running to the right, but it also auto jumps. This is the thing that I seriously didn't like about it. If there is a Goomba coming at you and you run at it, Mario will just hop over it by himself. And if you do that hop over, you can bounce off it and get more points, etc. So you can't just hit a monster. I suppose there will be some later on, but the bit that I've actually seen didn't give me any of that. So yeah. Also, holes in the floor. If there's a hole in the floor, it's like 1 square or 2 squares thick. Mario will just leap over it, and it just a little lips and stuff, like 1 block high jumps. He'll just hop over. So it just felt like the game was mostly playing itself for a while. I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? So it's about collecting coins and jumping, and it's basically I don't really care for Mario platforming. I've never really enjoyed 2D Mario platforming. I find it's just a bit too loose and floaty, and the momentum's just a bit off. I think Sonic was always tighter. That's a weird thing to say, but I don't actually like Mario's 2D platforming. I never have. I never thought it was particularly enjoyable. So taking away stuff from that's not going to make it better in my books. That's not going to make it better. It's not going to make it better. But that came out on Android and stuff. But the Nintendo have said that Super Mario Run sales did not meet our expectations. They didn't think it sold enough copies. It was downloaded 78 million times, and it sold 4 million copies. So they made 40 million. That's 40 million pounds as well, because it's £10 to get the full thing. But 40 million pounds for the game. That game did not cost 40 million pounds to develop. That game did not cost. There's not enough game in there. I guarantee it didn't cost that much. So they've made money quite a lot of money, but it didn't make enough. But it's weird that they say just 4 million people went onto it, but that's actually really low. Like, I thought that I think their problem, they're kind of pitching this as their problem of all people don't want to pay for games. I just think it wasn't a good enough game. Like, I know some people, like, I know you're in the comments now going, actually, it's a very good game for these reasons, but I didn't like it. I didn't care for it, and there's no way in hell I'm going to pay for that because I've got a 3DS and stuff. If you don't have a 3DS or a Wii or a Switch or any of those sort of things, then, you know, go for it. Although, actually, I looked at the sales figures for the Wii U new Super Mario Bros, and that only sold around 5.5 million worldwide. I know that's a more expensive game, but that only sold about... So this has already sold, and that was just on iPhone, it's already sold 4 million. It's going to sell more than the Wii U version. So more people would have bought it, but more people have played it because of the 78 million. So they're struggling to get those 78 million to put the 10 quid forward. But I mean, most people who download games, they never want to pay for anything. Like that's the thing, is they never want to pay for anything. I mean, the average user's worth, I can't remember how much I said at one point, because somebody offered me X amount per person. I think it was like $5 or something ridiculous, like per person who downloads the app. But it's so they think the person on average is worth sort of that, but they didn't get enough people to buy that thing, and I think just the price was too much for a game that was too little. Maybe the later game becomes a lot more like super difficult challenges and shit, and maybe then it'll be a bit more fun. But it's still just £10 for like a crap Mario thing on your phone when there are better platformers on mobile phone. Like if I'm going to play an auto runner, I'm sure as hell going to play something like Cannibal, which I assume is on phones. That's on fucking everything these days. That's what I need from a thing. Just Twitch reactions and stuff. But again, the big problem with mobile phone game is you have one button. And if you want to do something more complicated, it just gets really complicated with no feedback and becomes a worse experience. So, yeah, strange. Actually, another thing. A lot of people have been complaining that they didn't know what the £10 got them. Because you get the first 4 levels of like World 1 or whatever, and then when you go into the next section, it's like pay now. A lot of people thought that was just for the next few levels, so they didn't go for it. So apparently Nintendo didn't explain it well enough to people that was going to get them the rest of the game. But they said they're going to stick with that pay once model, which is good. That's a nice model. Demo, pay for the game. I think they need to bring their prices down if they want to bring more people over, and I kind of want them to actually make a game, really. It's something not... So my big thing is... Right, there's 2 phrases that people use to describe games that I fucking hate. That I seriously fucking hate. One of them is, oh, it's just a time waster. Dude, don't waste time. You've got a finite amount of it. Use it as best as you possibly can. Like, play good games. There are so many games on mobile phone that aren't time wasters. They are proper, actual, full games that'll, you know, give you something. Don't just waste your time. The other one is addictive. I never enjoyed a single game that called itself addictive. There are some games that you want to play a lot of, but they're not addictive. There's actually a fine line between addictive and, like, moreish. Like, Maltesers, right? Nobody in the world is addicted to Maltesers. You don't go... Nobody's like, hi, my name's Barry and I have a Malteser addiction. That never happens sitting in a circle. It never happens. But I can't stop eating Maltesers once they're open. Like, it's a physical impossibility. Like, once the thing on Maltesers opens, I'm like, well, I'm not dieting today. It's not... I can't just be like... Nobody in the world has ever seen a box of Maltesers and gone, oh, I'll just have one. It's never happened. It's physically impossible. But you can't be addicted to Maltesers. But they're moreish. So when you're in there, wow, lots of tasty, tasty goodness. Like, Tetris isn't an addictive game. But it's a hell... You're not there going, oh, I'm playing this for a thing. But it is a moreish game because it actually involves skill and playability. Whatever. Fuck it. I'm tired. I'm not explaining things well. There's Nintendo said a thing. I was gonna talk about another thing. I was gonna slip a thing in here. I totally forgot it was. I was like, I'm totally excited to talk about that thing. I can't fucking remember what it was. Shit. Oh well. Fuck. I'm still alive. Fuck it, let's just go on to the end of it. I found a cool game. I like to end on a little bit of good news, and I found a game that looks so fucking good. I wanted to bring this to your attention. There is a game coming out called Snake Pass. Snake Pass is a game where you play as a snake, whose color scheme seems to note that he's a poisonous snake, which is interesting. But you play as a snake. Hang on, what? Fuck, is that out yet? So I was about to say, I don't know when this is coming out. Fine, I'm just going to Google it. While I talk, I'm going to Google the thing. It looks beautiful. Like, the game looks super beautiful. Hang on, type in the word Steam so I can see when it's actually coming out. It's really bright and colourful. It reminds me of, like, how... Like, it reminds me of a nostalgic view of PlayStation 1 sort of platformers. Like Crash Bandicoot's bright, bold colours. It's got that sort of aesthetic to it with a lot of grass, a lot of towering sort of green-grey sort of towers and stuff, and bright flowers and stuff everywhere. What is it coming out? Oh, it's coming out in 2 days! Oh, shit, I'm so excited. But what looks super good about it is you control the snake as a snake, so there's not really a jump button or anything. You just slither him around, and I can't explain. There's a really good developer video on like how the game works and stuff that you should totally check out. But it looks really good. Like, I've got super high hopes for it. It comes out in 2 days' time, so there will be a video on it quite soon. But it's yeah, like it's an interesting platform, interesting 3D platformers. We don't get enough 3D platformers these days. I love 3D platformers, and one of those with a really interesting mechanic looks super good. Like, it looks beautiful. It's so beautiful. Like, because you can tighten your body and you like slither over stuff, but you can't just push forward and go. That doesn't work. You actually have to go left, right. You actually have to slither like a snake. Like, totally committed to a new movement style. I'm pumped. I'm really pumped for that game. I'm excited to play it. I just need to beat this boss in Bloodborne and then I'll have free time. Like, I know that game's got big spiders coming up. I know it does. And I'm weighing how much I'm enjoying the game versus the big fucking spiders. I'm like, I'll keep going for now. And I just see how terrifying those spiders get. But it's going good for now. It's also, like, I'm just, sorry, getting back to Bloodborne for a second. It's like the horror that I like. I'm not a super huge horror fan. I don't like jump scares and spooky and things. But it always feels... The horror is, one, from just the general overall creepy tone of everything. The moans and the groans and the weird laughter behind doors and stuff. Like, that's totally... I fucking love sound-based horror like that. It's never like, ah, monsters! But the other thing is, like, the main fear comes from... Not from the fact that the creatures are, like, super weird and terrifying. It's mostly from the fact that they can kick the shit out of you. So the horror is you feel really undefended, even though you can defeat everything, and I think it's great. Anyway, fuck it, that's Bloodborne. And Snake Pass. Have a look at Snake Pass. I hope it's not shit. I really hope it's not shit, but it looks beautiful. It looks like a really interesting movement system, and I'm going to play the absolute shit out of that game. Yeah, cool, good stuff. That was the news. And tomorrow's video, my voice is genuinely starting to go now. Tomorrow's video is actually not going to be an edited video. It's going to be the stream that we did, but I'm going to split it up into 5 videos. So we're going to have, because it basically was in 5 different sections, that video. So we're going to have, and I will upload the full thing as well at some point. But it'll be just, so tomorrow's video is going to be 5 videos of the stream. It's a lot of stuff to put out at once. I didn't want to like cram it with anything else. So it's broken down. Whatever. That was a thing. I'm tired. We raised £17,000 on that live stream. Thank you everyone who donated. That was super cool. I'll stop talking now. I need to go and have a lie down. See you later.